What is culture? Culture is a term that refers to a large and diverse set of mostly intangible aspects of social life. According to sociologists, culture consists of the values, belief system of language, communication, and practices that people share in common and that can be used to define them as collective. Culture also includes the material objects that are common to the group or society. Culture is distinct from social culture and economic aspects of society, but it is connected to them, both continuously informing them and being informed by them. Culture is like all stuff we believe in, how we talk, how we do, and even things we make. It's like what makes us a group, like our own special sauce. For Marcos Tio Cicero, culture is cultivation of the soul or cultural anime. He equivalently employed an agricultural metaphor to explain the development of physiological soul, which was understood theologically as the highest possible development. Cicero's understanding of culture was updated to the early 17th century until a German jurist, politician, philosopher, economist, statesman, historian Samuel Pufendorf, and 1632 to 1694, wrote in two books on duty of man and citizen according to the natural law of 1682, talk over Cicero metaphor and modern context. Similar in meaning but not identically. Culture was a person's natural perfection, an individual use of world culture, and that of many writers. Individuals refer to all in the which human beings overcome their original barbarism and artifice fully become a person. This dude, Cicero, thought culture was about making your soul awesome, like farming but for your spirit.
Edward Burnett Taylor. However, it was only during the 19th century when English anthropologist Edward Burnett Taylor first coined the term culture. Taylor was considered as the founder of cultural anthropology. He believed that the study of society becomes incomplete without proper understanding of culture of that society, since culture and society go together. Culture is an unique position of human. Taylor's understanding of culture is that of a complex whole which includes human knowledge, belief, art, moral, law, custom, tools, technique, ritual, and any more other capabilities and habits acquired by humans. Edward Burnett Taylor, as an English anthropologist who is considered the founder and cultural anthropology.
Bright morning, everyone. This is Lance Adrian Del Fuente from base HM2D. Our topic is culture expression. Culture is the expression of our natures in our modes of living and thinking. It may be seen in our literature and religious practices, in recreation and enjoyment. Culture has two distinctive components, namely material and non-material. In this paragraphs, tells nga kada lugar may kita lain-lain nga cultures. Ang iban ka-develop nila in historical, kagang iban ka-develop nila recently. Example, in our country we are known as bayanihan and being respectful by using po and opo. Material culture consists of objects that are related to material aspect our life, such as our dress, foods, and households goods. Materials sa munang mga gamit like sa aton country like Filipiniana, Barot, Saya, kagiban po yun yung mga kilala sa aton.
Culture varies from place to place and country to country. It's developed based on the historical process operating in a local, regional, or national context. For example, we differ in our ways of greeting others, our clothing, food habits, and social and religious customs, and practices from the West. In other words, the people country are characterized by their distinct culture tradition. Culture varies. Basically, what called in one place might be totally different somewhere else. It depends on the story and stuff, like how we greet people, what we wear, and what we eat, change from place to place.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Firmat Domingo. Our topic is how culture shaping the moral agent. Cultural shaping a moral agents by influencing their understanding our rights and wrong, their value and their behavior. It provides a framework or norms, beliefs, and costumes that guide individuals' moral development and decision making. Culture definitely affect the way we evaluate the judged thing. Should we judge the action of people in other culture by their ethical standards or our own? If we judge by their standard, what must we think of people who follow our more but break those of their own society? For example is, hambal sang isa ka tao is nga hulmon mong ang iya gamit pero kinkwa mo tapos sang iya namang kilala abi nila kinkwa mo nga wala lisensya. So gina-judge ka dahil nila nga amo na nga situation like nga wala pa nila nakita, then gina-judge ka na nga ginkawat mo kuno do mo na pero naglisensya ka do mo nang situation nga gina-judge ka. There are many behaviors that we consider are good in their times and place, but which of majority of people now see as wrong. And of the time, we give people as pass for this behavior.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Romel Caballero, and let's continue the topic. Culture has a very long-lasting hold on an individual. Culture exerts a deep and lasting influence on individuals, even highly educated individuals, including those with advanced degrees and Christian values of forgiveness, can be swayed by their societal norms, particularly a culture of vengeance rooted in an eye for an eye. When a member of their tribes is harmed or killed, this individual often feel compelled or seek revenge, overriding their formal education and personal values. In such situation, cultural loyalty and tribal instinct can be lead them to prioritize revenge over their academic or moral teaching. May ara mga individual nga mga highly educated, mga advanced degrees, may mga value of forgiveness, pero naka-influensyahan sila sa ilang societal norms, kagapati sila sa hambal nga an eye for an eye. Kay kung may ara tribe sa ilang ma-harm or ma-kill, so baliga gina-prioritize nila ang revenge kag wala na nila ginapaminsan ang ilang status.
Next, my report is the human person and culture. As a moral agent, you are born into a culture, a factual reality not chosen. You are born nothing. It may be said that Aristotelic Thomistic traditional is one dominant, if nothing the most dominant culture. This Aristotelic Thomistic culture is a Greco-Roman culture, which has influenced and shaped a moral life these who have been exposed to it. What happened when there are different cultures with their own different views of human direction and destiny? When culture with a different views on human destiny clash, outcome range from complex and misunderstanding to adoption and mutual enrichment, often involving ethnocentrism or judging others' culture by one's own standards, leading to violence or cultural relativism, understanding other culture in their own terms, leading to a greater understanding. A perfect thing has no provision, no lack, and no absence of being. What if the new culture redefines perfect as any created and present model, which may be recreated or remolded like a clay? A new culture redefining perfection as any existing model that can't be recreated or molded like a clay implies a culture of radical relativism, and cultural dynamism, where perfection is not absolute standard but a fluid, self-created concept tied to ongoing innovation and adoption.
Right morning, everyone. My name is Anami Caspi, and I want to discuss the cultural relativism. So first, relativism say what is true for you is true for you, and what is true for me is true for me. So kung baga, kung para sa akon, tuod siya, tsakto sa akon. Pag sa imo naman, tsakto sa, kung baga, lain-lana nga perspective nga duwa. And so cultural relativism would say what you believe, value, or practice depends on your culture, while what I believe, value, and practice depend on my culture. Kumbaga, for example, ako, lain na ako niya culture, so lain man ako niya beliefs, lain man ang ako niya value. So, depende sa itong culture. Sa ako na ya, kung sa imo, lain ka, imo na, kumbaga, lain-lain kita beliefs and values sa kada culture. In other words, cultural relativism is the idea that a person's beliefs, value, and practices should be understood based on the person's own culture rather than be judged against the criteria of another. So, kumbaga, dapat intindihan natin ang isa kag isa kay syempre we have a different culture. So, in different culture, we have a different beliefs and values. So, dapat intindihan tagad sila kag hindi to sila i-judge. The concept of cultural relativism, as we know and used it in a contemporary time, was established as an analytic tool by the German-American anthropologist Franz Boas in 1848 to 1942. In the early 20th century, in the study of geography, Boas first articulated the idea in 1887: civilization is not something absolute, but is relative, and our ideas and conceptions are true only so far as our civilization goes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jillian Calanza. My topic is basic concept relating to cultural relativism. First, cultural relativism is the view custom and ethics are relative within one on social context view right and wrong, as that is what is considered moral may be considered immoral, and since no universal norms of no one has the right to judge culture. Example, ang sa aton nga culture is nagkaon kita gamit ang atong kamot, din sa iba naman nga mga culture is do kabasto sa ila paglantaw sa aton nga gakaon nga gakinam. Number 2, cultural relativism is the idea that a person believes that values and practices shall be understood based on the person's own culture rather than judged against and criteria of other. Example, is one culture great people by bowing and others by shaking hands? Cultural relativism say we should go one wrong just because it difference. Instead, you try to understand why each cultural does in their way. Cultural relativism refers to the idea that a values, knowledge, and belief of people must be understood within their own cultural context. Example, if one society eats food that seems strange to you, cultural relativism says you shouldn't immediately call it wrong or gross. You ask why is this food important to them? What role does it play in their daily life or traditions?
Bright morning, my name is Dana Casilio and I'm from the SHM 2D. So let's discuss about ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is judging other cultures by your own standards, which can lead to seeing differences as negative. For example, practices like the leak, abandoning children, or Yanomamo women valuing beatings can be shocking when viewed through an ethnocentric lens. So, cultural relativism encourages understanding practices within their own culture context. The example of Eskimos offering their wives to guests can be better understood when considering the value of possessions and the conditions of the time. Next is the cultural relativism. It means understanding other cultures without judging them based on your own. It doesn't mean you have to adopt their ways, but it helps break down barriers by preventing you from viewing them through an ethnocentric, your culture is superior lens. So, you can learn to appreciate others' culture through research or by experiencing them directly through travel or meeting people from those cultures. Imagine, you're wearing glasses that only let you see this world through your own culture's colors. So that ethnocentrism, judging other cultures based on what you know and believe, it's like saying, my way is right and everyone else is doing wrong. Cultural relativism is like taking off those glasses and trying to see the world through someone else's. It means trying to understand why people in other cultures do what they do without judging them. The text gives examples of cultures that might seem strange at first, but when you understand the reasons, they become a little less weird and a little more understandable. Learning about other cultures and experiencing them firsthand helps us take off those ethnocentric glasses and appreciate the diversity of the world. It's about understanding, not necessarily agreeing.
So, bright morning everyone. My name is Jersin Libing and we're going to tackle about cultural perspective versus cultural relativism. So, cultural perspective means trying to understand the practice from their point of view before making any judgment. Means trying to see a culture from different viewpoints, focuses on understanding practices before making judgments, and focuses on understanding practices before sample. Instead of calling a practice wrong, ask why it matters in the culture. So that means kung sa imo cultural relativism. Cultural relativism, even further saying that we should not judge at all and that the practices is valid when their culture. So, cultural relativism is no judgment at all practices are valid in their culture, or morality culture dependent. So, the comparison of these two are cultural perspective is understand first, then reflect. And cultural relativism accepts all practices as valid and no judgment.